Frequency, Chapter 5, Part 3. More silence. Vinyl considered him, wondering just how much she should tell him. Then she realized that there was no reason not to talk. It wasn't like it would harm any pony.
She's got this nutso story. She says she's up in space and lost.
He stared at her with a dry frown. In space? What is it, some sort of game she's playing?
I don't think so.
Vinyl sighed and rested her cheek against her hoof, eyes on her drink.
I get this impression that she's in trouble. Like, real trouble.
What kind of trouble?
I don't know.
She used her magic to stir the drink, watching as the liquid swirled about.
Like, maybe she's got an abusive father or something? Or maybe she's just really lonely? I can't tell, but she's entranced in her little fantasy. Even by the standards of that fantasy, she's refusing to open up to me.
That sounds ridiculous. Flash leaned over the table to study her. It also sounds like you've grown attached to the idea of saving her. Vinyl gave a weak nod.
You should have heard her on that first night. She was talking about killing herself.
His eyes widened a touch. Whoa.
I know.
She sighed and sat up again.
I'm trying to help her out. She needs...
A psychiatrist? Flash made an imploring gesture. Why are you taking this on by yourself? Get some professional help.
I can't!
She snapped, leveling a harsh glare his way.
I've got my reasons, but I can't. This is my responsibility.
He matched her gaze, but said nothing as their food came out right at that moment. Vinyl tried to relax as she stared at the large plate of steaming pasta with white sauce, asparagus, tomatoes, and a sprinkling of basil. There were other things that her uncultured mind couldn't identify, but a careful bite told her she'd love to find out more. The beginning of an argument faded rapidly as they each delighted in their respective meals. However, after a few bites, a thought came to Vinyl.
You know, in a way, I am seeking professional help.
Flash took a moment to swallow his mouthful. Really? How so?
I've set up an appointment to see Princess Luna. I'm gonna ask her to disprove Addie's story.
He cocked his head, chewing his food slowly as he thought. How is she gonna do that?
Beats me. She's the princess of the night. I figure if any pony can do it, it's her.
His fork dangled from his mouth for a few seconds. Guess that makes sense. What happens after Addie gets her story blown up?
Then I'll finally get the truth and know what to do to help her.
Flash's eyebrows rose. You really think it'll be that cut and dry? That was not at all the response she'd expected.
You think it won't be?
He rubbed the back of his head with a deep frown, his wings ruffling. Well, no, it's just... I've been around princesses quite a bit. And if there's anything I've learned from such close proximity to royalty, it's that very few things go as well as planned. She bowed her head.
So you think I should plan for the worst?
Something like that. He shrugged and took a sip of his drink. What if, for example, your friend has been at it so long, she actually believes her own story? How would she react to having that little bubble of security popped? Her jaw dropped, as that idea swam around in her head.
I never thought of that.
That's exactly my point. Flash pointed his fork at her. Every time it seems like everything's gonna go right, something comes along to smash it in your face. It's good that you're helping this pony, but have you ever considered what comes next?
I'm not exactly known for planning ahead.
She admitted, with a chuckle, before taking a big bite of her pasta. She chewed slowly, savoring the taste while also biding her time. Honestly? He smirked. That doesn't surprise me.
Shut up.
She stuck her tongue out.
I get what you're saying, but I think I'd rather take this as it comes. You don't want me trying to come up with plans for the future. That'll end badly.
Flash sighed from around his mouthful and nodded. Well, if that's what you think is best, let it not be said that I didn't try.
Let it not be said?
Vinyl chuckled.
And who are you supposed to be now, Shakes Pony?
His cheeks went red, and he crossed his hooves with a huff. Leave me alone. I've been hovering around Princess Twilight a lot lately. Vinyl's lips curled upwards.
I thought you said you were over her.
It's part of the job, okay? He replied with ears low. She's in town. There's no way Princess Twilight and Princess Cadance will be in the same town and not have a friendly get-together.
You gotta stop learning to be so defensive, soldier.
Vinyl waved her fork at him before using it to nab one of his oat balls. She tried it and let out a small groan.
Dude, are you gonna make this a regular thing? 'Cause I could eat here daily.
Would you like me to? She blinked, abruptly aware of Flash. He was watching her, his manner calm, his expression curious. Her instinct was to hit him with another jab of wit, but she couldn't kick the words off of her tongue. Why did his manner make her so nervous? She fidgeted, set her fork down, and took a sip of her drink to calm her nerves and buy time to think.
You really mean it, don't you?
Flash said nothing. He merely waited patiently. For some time, she could only stare. Closing her eyes, she saw herself running from club to club, bar to bar, concert to concert. Always playing, always laughing and smiling. She was in a sea of anonymous faces, all of them looking at her and none of them seeing her. They talked about nothing. They knew nothing about her, said nothing about themselves. They just existed. Aimless. Pointless. Vinyl? Her entire body gave a reflexive jerk, and she opened her eyes to find Flash still watching her. She blushed and lowered her eyes to her half-empty plate.
I've met so many ponies, and I can't claim to know any of them.
He shifted with a small, uncertain frown. Vinyl tapped her hooves together, sinking a little lower in her seat.
I want to get to know some pony. Addie's the first pony to really talk to me, you know? Yet even then, all I'm getting from her is a Madase story that, Celestia forbid, she might actually believe.
Silence passed between them. Vinyl refused to look at him, instead focusing on how her stomach was churning. She didn't really care to eat anymore, but the circus act in her midsection wasn't the only thing she felt. There was a cold unpleasantness in the back of her mind. She wanted to snap at Flash, to take back what she just said and rip the words apart, to laugh in his face, and accuse him of being desperate for a date. There was so much her brain told her she needed to do to get out of this situation. Her lips trembled with the urge to unleash the words to ensure she'd never see Flash again. She had no idea what was holding her back, but it was powerful and it made her feel like dirt. Tell me about yourself. Air she didn't know was being held burst from her lungs. She looked up to find Flash smiling at her.
What?
He gestured invitingly. Tell me about yourself. She gazed at him, then glanced around the room for inspiration. Her mind swam in random directions as she tried to process what he'd said.
Like what?
Flash rubbed his chin thoughtfully before regaining his warm smile. How'd you get your cutie mark? Vinyl considered the question, and everything she'd have to talk about to really tell that story properly. But the idea made her smile.
That's gonna take time.
He leaned forward, elbows on the table, and hooves pressed to one another beneath his chin. I'll listen. Aw, that is so freaking sweet. God, I'm just a sucker for romance. I mean, I don't even know if they're gonna get together, but if they are, oh, that's so good. Anywho, let's get on to our clever donators. Top donators are 630, Badass Waffle, Only One Thing, Subaru Orion, Iron Sky, and Jesse Smith. Matchbook 109, Jock TF, Darkside Raiden Narwhals, Black Moonar, Pastel Skies, Austin Rollins, Stu Hexford, Brother Margin, Omicron, Library, Rinslet 9852, Will, Chris, Twinkie, Rise, Hole, Shadow Moon, Luigi 88, Chancer Crust, Big Smoke 369, Bobcat, GJF, Murder Princess, and many more sweet people. Thank you all so much for watching this video and live life to the fullest.